For the next hour, join me, John Stofflet, as we embark on the trip of a lifetime, an exciting expedition to the ends of the earth. Visit distant villages where husbands and wives live apart, and the roads are paved with nothing but adventure.
It's a national highway, but it doesn't look like a national highway.
See the exotic land Seattle's own little llama now calls home.
That is a lot to memorize. I can't remember my address and phone number.
From Asia to the Outback, from the South Pacific to the Serengeti.
You're stalking these gazelles.
This is where nature is at its best.
Adventure awaits around every corner.
There's a cyclone in Samoa.
So it's either Tahiti or Fiji.
On this journey to the four corners of the earth.
You know, they say, oh, you know, you live in Easter Island. I thought nobody lived there.
Exotic beaches and buildings. Legendary temples and towns.
This is Timbuktu, Mali.
As we travel with Seattle's TCS expeditions to the ends of the earth and Timbuktu.
Hello everyone, welcome to the show. I'm John Stofflet. So glad you can be along with us on this incredible adventure as we travel around the world by private jet. 12 countries over several continents. Glad to have you along. We're starting out on the most remote inhabited island in the world. Just take a look at a map and you'll see that Easter Island truly is in the middle of nowhere, but it is a very special somewhere thanks to these moai.
Everywhere you look on Easter Island, you are literally face to face with one of the world's biggest mysteries. The mystery of the moai. Why did ancient Easter Islanders carve these moai, or statues? Did they erect them to honor dead chiefs or ancestors? Were they a connection to the gods? No one can say for sure.
I think they're very special because it is a very unique thing to mankind. And although everybody looks at them and say they all look alike, they're not alike. They are all different. And each one has a different character. It is the character of the sculptor that did it.
It's believed the first sculptors started carving the stone giants out of the side of this volcano as long as 1,000 years ago, and that the last was carved about 400 years ago. The sculptors started making bigger, fancier moai over the years, possibly to one-up the next guy.
The statues represent the status symbol of the tribe. It is the only way you can show your wealth. So, of course, everybody wanted to have a larger statue than the neighbor.
The average statue weighs around 30,000 pounds, so how did they move them from the quarry to their altars? Some believe aliens from above helped to move the moai. Archaeologists think the Easter Islanders rolled the statues on logs. Many moai never made it to their altars. Others sit unfinished, as if sculptors just walked away from their work. It's believed the island became overpopulated, natural resources became scarce, and war broke out. The moai makers were no more. But Easter Island is certainly alive today. It's home to about 3,000 residents, many of Polynesian descent, and proud of it.
People worry so much about the history of the island and how the statues were transported and the mystery of Easter Island, and they forget about the people. You know, they say, oh, you know, you live in Easter Island. I thought nobody lived there.
It is an incredibly remote place, 1,100 miles to the nearest inhabited island, a couple thousand miles from the Chilean mainland.
I think the hardest part is being so isolated. Because in other places, you look out in the ocean and you see islands, and you know that there's a neighbor there.
The island has an airport, which is also an emergency landing strip for the space shuttle, but it doesn't have
movies. We don't have any movie theaters.
It is a place where you can really relax, where you find complete peace. Nobody will mug you, you don't have any crime. All the people are friendly. Beautiful places to visit, beaches, the quarries. I mean, it has a lot of interest.
Easter Island is all that and a place where history and mystery are both written in stone. From Easter Island, our plan is to head to Samoa.
There's a cyclone in Samoa.
New plan.
I'm very sorry. We're doing our best. This kind of makes it more exciting when it is an expedition.
Rather than head into harm's way, we'll be heading to one of two dreamy destinations.
So it's either Tahiti or Fiji. We don't know which.
Well, those are nice choices.
As we're not going direct to Western Samoa.
For several tense hours, we don't know which island paradise we'll be spending the night in. Will it be Fiji? Will it be Tahiti?
But aren't we fortunate to have these choices?
And then Tahiti it is.
I'm so excited. We're staying here.
Located in the middle of the South Pacific, Tahiti is the best known of the 118 islands in French Polynesia. We didn't expect to be spending a night in Tahiti, but it's not a bad little detour.
Yes, it can be very difficult, but one must simply learn to adjust to change.
Talk about being able to adjust. We'll have to be ready for anything when we visit the next country on our world tour, Papua New Guinea. Remember those National Geographic documentaries you watched in school as a kid? It was hard to believe there were people and places so exotic, so different in the world. But travel to the highlands of Papua New Guinea, and still today, you'll find a place where words like strip mall, traffic jam, and Starbucks draw blank stares.
You know who that is? His name? No. Ever seen him before? No. Ronald McDonald.
At the Tari airstrip, the arrival of outsiders, like those in our expedition, still draws a crowd. Westerners didn't even know the people of Papua New Guinea's highlands were here until 1935. That's because it's such a remote, hard-to-get-to corner of the earth. The road to adventure here is an adventure itself. There are very few roads to begin with in this country, and only 10% of them are paved.
It's a national highway, but it doesn't look like a national highway.
If you think the roads are bad, just check out the bridges. Desperately poor Papua New Guineans steal the wooden bridge planks.
There's no way I'm going back in the bus. I'm going to watch this develop. When it's done, we'll think about it again.
I think it's a wonderful experience that I've never seen before, and I hope I never see again.
Our driver and guide, Peter, shows his frustration over living in a country so poor, and in his opinion, so poorly run.
So it's difficult for you?
Difficult. We are getting hard time here, no government helping us. We are suffer, school and everything.
The average person here earns only $2,500 a year. Yet it is a country rich in tradition. Tradition they're eager to share. While Western visitors are not unusual these days, until 1935, Highlanders had never seen a white person before, and at first thought such pale beings were dead relatives returning from the grave.
They all love me, and I'm single.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
You'll still find some members of the Huli culture living the way they always have. Traditionally, Huli men don't live in the same hut with their wives. Now this is the men's hut, where only men can visit and only men can live. Wives stay in a separate hut with the children and the pigs.
Because the women, they talk a lot, making noise, and the children make noise, and the pigs, they make noise.
Pigs are an important part of Huli culture. Traditionally, a groom's family pays 15 to 30 pigs for a bride. On wedding day, negotiations over the number of pigs can get a bit heated. The Huli wig men got their name because of the ceremonial wigs they make by growing their own hair onto a frame. This sacred water is said to help the hair grow.
And that's all his real hair?
Yeah, that's his real hair.
The men will grow the hair for 2 years, sleeping with their heads on a stick so the hair isn't crushed. The elaborate wigs made from the hair can be handed down from generation to generation and are worn proudly during ceremonial dances called sing-sings. It's hard to get to Papua New Guinea, even harder to forget it once you've been there. Just ahead, it's been 6 years since he left Seattle. How is our little llama doing in Nepal?
Nice to see you.
Yeah.
From opulent hotels to gourmet meals, a look at our life of luxury on this Around the World tour.
Hey, it's hot.
It's not Cambodia's version of the Stairmaster, it's a temple steeped in history.